Welcome to another day of Ether Raids. We are taking on LFN1 here, and we're going to use the Gold Egg team? I don't know, the Range Gale Force team. Let's call it that. Basically, this is a free win. I think they're probably going to rematch. This looks like someone that set up a fishing team here. So we're just going to try to get this done as quickly as possible. And then go pull on that banner. I haven't summoned Shez yet, so that is the next part of my plan for the day. And then I'm probably going to go into summoner duels for a little bit. I've been testing a couple of units. Mia is probably the primary one, and also Anna as well, just to see how they work in tandem. It's been going pretty okay. Aside from when you come up against those whales that have those max investment teams, I've seen some fantastic, I've seen a fantastic Zelgius. Well, actually, it was two of them, but the Grail one, the Black Knight, I've seen one that was really fantastic. It was the speed build, Speed Zelgius, and my god, was he hard to take out. I lost the first one, and then I think I lost both of them. Primarily because my team isn't really set up to take something like that on. They had a Gateau that was built really tanky. I was surprised that Gateau could be made that tanky. I think it was plus 10 Gateau with Lagu's Friend 4, close combat, bonus doubler, bonus close combat, whatever you want to call it. And then I forget what the C skill was. His A skill is. Oh, they dropped his perf.
If you say so.
Interesting. Yeah, because they had to run close bonus doubler, so it looks like they dropped his perf. But it didn't matter because he was still incredibly tanky with Lagu's Friend 4, which was always going to be a fantastic option on Gateau because he has incredible bulk, def and res. So either one of those, you want to slap Lagu's Friend 4 on him, he'll always perform really well on. With that, I just didn't want to do it because I don't see myself ever using him outside of Ether Raids, especially since I don't have him heavily invested. But that aside, it was a really tough team. They had an Alphonse that I simply could not kill because he was warping around. Typically, I would have banned that team because I don't have a lot of units that match up well into Alphonse on the team that I was practicing with. And really, it's not really a team that was set up to take out Alphonse. Although I did have Chloe on the team, who does have a favorable matchup in some situations, especially if Alphonse is not buffed up. But once you get to a couple of turns in, she starts to fail to take him out, and Chloe needs a little bit more, or needed a little bit more to begin with. So there's that. I came up against a couple other people. I have some other ideas that I want to try to build on with, let's say, I want to work with
Shall we proceed?
Erica, both her Brave and the Tune version, to see if I can get some type of damage out of them. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm also going to test out Shez to see how he performs, but I'm not expecting too much. But GG's. Got a quick one today. Alright, welcome to another day of Ether Raids. We're taking on BRG Jeans here in Jeans. Rematches today. We're going to see what we can get out of this. Alright, so this is... I'm going to give the same team a try here. Primarily because I can't bother dealing with Felix. Well, not necessarily that. I just don't have a team that can actually tank Felix effectively. And also there's Celica here, who's another layer of threat. So overall, you just gotta double save this, or at least I have to. I could have probably went in with the range team, the range Gale Force team, to try to Byleth, and then I don't know, Medius, so on and so forth, and clear the team that way, or clear the defense that way. But I don't think I've gotten a chance to show off exactly how well Robin here, or Hardy Fighter does against Felix. Probably like, I wonder if I'd have similar results with Savvy Fighter. Clever Fighter, the new base skills for armors. But then again, the damage output might be too much. I haven't given that a test yet. I don't think it's what's the word here? Desirable in some of those high damage output matchups. You really want to be running Hardy Fighter at this stage in the game. It just makes the most sense, unless you're going to be running like Armored Blaze as well. But it's still a little bit iffy, especially if you're getting outsped, which is quite possible with Felix. So Hardy Fighter it is, for now at least. That being said, I could actually give Robin Armored Blaze. I haven't made that investment yet. Although, since she's a dragon, I could probably give her a Dragon's Roar at some point if I get another male Lear. But yeah, not quite sure how to set this up because I gotta cover everyone, but I also want to get out of the range of the divine, or no, isn't. Becky's weapon effect. Is it a weapon or is it a C-skill? One of the two. I think it's her C-skill. So that the anti-miracle and the anti-healing fatal smote. More than likely I'm going to end up going into the side where Felix is coming down and then take it from there. Not a lot of threats here in terms of things that can stop my saves. The main problem is getting up and getting the pots because of my lack of mobility. Since I've opted or decided to go with Breath of Life 4 on Seteth, my mobility has been significantly reduced because only Peony here has guidance, so it makes getting around the map a lot more challenging. And also, Nephany here doesn't really do very much for me. So there's that as well. So I don't know. We'll see how this pans out. Double layers of exposure. Micaiah inflicts exposure as well. So it really doesn't matter where you go. You're going to be getting the plus 10, or the enemy team is going to be getting the plus 10 true damage. Interesting seeing Becky on defense for Dark Season. This is Dark Season, by the way. But yeah, when you're good, it just doesn't matter, man. You get used. You get used when you're good. Kind of like when you're working in an office and your boss realizes that you're good at your job. So you end up like being forced to work overtime because no one else wants to work your shift, or no one else is good enough to do the work or does the work good enough. So yeah, sometimes don't work so hard at work. Like, don't let them realize that you're good at your job, because sometimes what it leads to is that you just get, though everyone, there's a saying, if you're good at your job, being good at your job only results in you getting more work. I mean, yeah, you'll get a promotion, but that's still more work. So keep that in mind. If you're good at your job, you're gonna get more work. There's no other outcome. It's going to happen, which is kind of unfair because some people just sit there and do nothing all day, or pretend to be busy, which is a whole other thing. But yeah, keep that in mind, you youngins out there. When you're good at your job, you're gonna get more work. There's literally no job that doesn't follow that pattern. I can't think. Politics, office, every job, once you're good at your job, you're gonna get more work. That's literally just how it works. But yeah, waffling. I'm gonna do something with Lumera, and then we're gonna get Seteth in range as well, so I can get the Breath of Life support, and then we'll just let this pan out and see where it goes. Now, I am gonna have to cut this one down quite a bit, because it's gonna end up being very long, because I end up making not necessarily mistakes, but you're gonna see what happens. Yeah. Nephany is supposed to be the one here that's the main killing threat, but unfortunately, I'm sure that you all are like aware, or at least if you're watching my videos for a while now, past week or so, you know what I think about Nephany. I don't think she's particularly great, especially when it comes to doing damage. Very flat in my opinion. She's not the best, but she's bonus, and I needed a range unit. It was either that or Leo, which no way am I gonna run Leo. So here's Nephany for you. Mobility with her is my biggest problem, and then secondly, she just doesn't do enough damage. But hopefully, well, I mean, you'll see what happens. So that aside, here comes Felix. This is my favorite thing about the Felix matchup, is that once Robin has enough support, she will outspeed him. Arcane Fellstone, pretty good, pretty decent. Although I think she could probably do it with her perf weapon. Wow, she took him out. I didn't expect that, actually. I thought she would have needed an extra combat. Typically she needs 2 combats, but then that Felix wasn't. That was just regular Felix. He didn't look like he had a lot of investment. At least my Felix, it takes her 2 combats to take him out. This is fine. Micaiah versus Fjorm. I think I've shown you guys have seen that before, right? I think so. But Fjorm will win. Fjorm will win that match. He'll only fight. Oh.
Yes.
Nah, Fjorm will. Fjorm will win all of these fights.
This way.
One of the things I forgot was how careful you have to be with safe tanking, because positioning your units properly is so key. When you're using this playstyle, you have to like get everything. So it's not as, or when we first had save units, it was a lot of just sit your units back and see what happens. But now it's a lot more precise. You have to be meticulous or calculated in the positioning of your units, and that's really what I'm trying to do right now. Because you want to make sure that everyone's covered, but also there's weapon effects and status effects and debuffs that you want to try to avoid. And I think one other thing that this strategy here is kind of perfectly encapsulating is how many status effects or stat swings are currently in the game. I'm getting hit by Discord and by Micaiah, and I'm also getting hit by Sabotage, but I'm getting so many stat buffs in combat from Sedith drives, from Peony, just C skills, stuff like that, that it just, I'm still ending up with blue buffs in combat, which is really crazy. Yeah, it's really insane. So imagine how strong I would be without all of these debuffs. I think I've seen Robin hit like plus 50 attack and speed with Sedith support. So yeah, this team goes really nuts here.
So much catches my eye.
Okay, so we're not even halfway through. Let me see if I have anything else to talk about at this point, because there's a lot more of this to go around. So let me see.
Maybe.
Oh, I picked up what's that one anime called? I Parry Everything. It's actually quite entertaining. It's really entertaining. Watched like 9 episodes of it so far. I think only 9 is out as of recording this. So hopefully, 3 more weeks and it should be done. 12 episodes. I don't think it has a double curve, so it should be 12. Yeah, it's pretty decent. If you're bored, you can probably check that one out. I haven't watched like a lot of the animes this season because most of them just don't seem very interesting. I do want to finish Spice and Wolf. I have been watching that one for the first time. That's actually quite interesting. Like, I love how well it's written, and how like it's just like capitalism, but they've made capitalism quite exciting. And how dangerous the life of a merchant is now and even back then. Just carrying
Let us
your
go.
goods to and from cities can result in you like dying a lot of times, and that's really well depicted in the show. And I really like that about it. It has a lot of
It's a
historical
promise.
accuracies, although it's a fiction. Um, and you know, there's a wolf girl, so there's that as well. But I really like it. Interested to see how it wraps up. I think maybe they'll get another season from what I'm seeing, but still a few more episodes to go before it closes out for the first season. It's pretty good so far. I can see why a lot of people highly rate it, especially for when it came out. I think it would have done really well at that time, but I feel like
Do not
personally, my opinion,
Let us begin.
Gojo and Marin are just like far better. My Dress Up Darling is like, I think that one's my favorite.
Let us go.
When it comes to like, I don't know, what do you say, romance or, yeah, I think. But then it's high school, and then this one's not high school. This one's kind of fantasy. So I don't know. Maybe that's not a fair comparison. What would I compare it to then if it's not that? There's not really a ton of romance in Frieren. I don't know what I'd compare it to if not that. Spice and Wolf. I think it really stands alone then, because I don't think there's a lot of animes that are out there that are like really like a fantasy love story. Can't really think of a lot of animes out there that are similar to it. But aside from that, not much else is going on. I've been looking to improve some units in my barracks. In particular, I've been looking at Brave Erga to see how I can make her better. Like I've gone a little crazy with my builds or with my unit upgrades so far. Like after COIL, I've sorry, burp. I've dipped
promise.
heavily into fodder, into a lot of my fodder. I think I've pulled at least, at least 3 or 4 extra copies of Brave Felix just for fodder. There are a couple units that I wanted to invest in. I wanted to improve
It's a promise.
Brave Alm. He's a lot better now with the fodder from Felix, plus I gave him
Yes.
Lagoose Friend 4. He works very well with it because he's surprisingly bulky, although I don't necessarily think it's because he doesn't get as fast as, he's not going to get to like god tier speeds. I think he gets like maybe like 50s, like 60s maybe, if you push it like at the high end, but his defense is like really high. So I invested in him with Lagoose Friend 4 and Felix's A skill and C skill, and then I tried to put him up against Brave Alphonse, and he just does zeros. So I don't know if that was a waste of an investment or not. But yeah, I've done that with Alm. So hopefully I can use that for something later on down the line, because he's really good. Like I feel like he's really good, and matching him against Felix, against Alphonse is probably not the best thing to do. So I'll see if I can find a matchup where it actually works out in his favor. He doesn't die against Alphonse because he has that sweep effect in his weapon, but the zeros are just ridiculous that he does, so there's no point. He also doesn't do very well against Brave Felix, of course, because he gets outsped. It's not very close, as I was saying. Brave Alm is not the fastest. Even with investments, he's not going to get to those modern speeds. But he's good. I just want to. What he really needs is, or what he really needed was the piercing for player phase. And Lagoose Friend doesn't really work like that. I mean, especially because he has that sweep effect, it's hard for him to trigger in the player phase. So I've kind of paired it with special acceleration from like an external source, or Flashing Blade Seal. If he outspeeds, hopefully he does outspeed. But I'm in a weird place with that, because some of the units that I've given Lagoose Friend for really do need that special acceleration, like the Micaiah that I showed previously. and then this brave Alm as well. They're more player phase units as opposed to the enemy phase build that I've given to them. But it's really the best that I can do for right now. I built it for like summoner duels, but it's not enough. He still gets blown up, which is unfortunate. From both melee and from range. I guess he's probably like one of those units that you can keep in the back, and then depending on how things go, like he can like win you the game late game. Like he can win, like if he's the last unit, he could probably get going, you know. I built him because of the tree terrain map from the last SDS run, but then I realized that, hold on, he can't cross the trees. Even though he's infantry, it's still going to take him a while to get across the trees, so it kind of defeated the purpose. I also built Anna, Halloween Anna. I've given her quite a bit of fodder. I'm actually looking to pick up another copy. Hopefully she comes back around soon, because I want to get her to +1, because the whole time that everyone was like using her in summoner duels, I was like, nah, this unit's kind of a cheat. I don't want to use her. And now I feel like everyone's backed off, and I'm kind of now leaning into her and trying to get some playtime out of her, because she's actually really, really good as a melee frontliner. I just don't know what B skill to give her, because I've invested into her with, like, I was trying to run the AoE build, but she doesn't have high enough attack. You'd have to give her like life and death, which I don't want to do, because that reduces. She doesn't have any flat damage reduction or any damage reduction at all in her weapon. She's really just depending on the miracle from her from her harmonic skill, if you can trigger that, or
I'll protect you.
her B skill to get like Gambit 4 damage reduction, but all of that is pierceable. So my problem with her is that she dies like really easily. So I don't know. That has been a problem with running her with an AoE, and also because Gambit doesn't apparently work with AoEs, so there's that. She can like pre-charge an AoE with her harmonic button. That's why I thought like, hey, this is a great idea. But then she doesn't have the bulk to really, like, you really want her to be living a hit, and also her AoE doesn't hit as hard as you would like it to hit. So I don't really know what to do. I've changed the build a little bit. I've decided to run like Ather instead, just to get the best out of Gambit. But also Gambit is kind of like not the greatest.
So much catches my eye.
Because as I said, all of that damage reduction is pierceable. So I kind of want to give her. I was considering giving her a B skill from that new Mia, but it's not the great flat damage reduction. You need to have stackable. It has to stack.
Ready.
And I just don't like. The only way I would use that if I was gonna use her with like Aegis or Pavis or something, and I'm not gonna do that. So I don't know what to do with this Mia, but at least I have a team now with Flyers, because that was one team that I just didn't have with for Summoner Duel. So at least I have that team now that I can just add that extra row. And it's not like the worst team in the world. I just have to make sure that I pick favorable matchups so that the units can shine. But what she really needs is some type of damage reduction from melee range, so that she can, actually win combats. But just going over her, like, in comparison to the new Mia is far better. Far better. Just bulk. I feel like she's a far better frontliner. It's just that she doesn't have that dual button, and she's susceptible to Nurgle, which I don't like. Nurgle and
let us go.
Duo
Insects to be
Thor,
crushed.
who can just eliminate her status effects.
Let us go.
I had to drop the Prime skill because it just didn't work well for the AoE build that I had in mind. I gave her an Excel just to give her a little bit of flat PR. And then I dropped her Rain Snap because might as well just take everything from Felix and be done with it. So yeah, she can move permanent through spaces, and she has Excel. She's really good as a damage dealer, but she can't tank for for her life. She's just not the tankiest unit. Ultimately, I think I could probably just build a better team around her just to substitute some of the bolt that she's missing. Like, I think she'd be really good if I put Felix somewhere on that team. Sedith somewhere on that team, but I don't know how I'd fit him in. But yeah, that's another one. I've also built Brave Erica. And I'm very happy with the Brave Erica build that I've done. I ended up giving her no quarter, but she works just as well with Luna, which she has by default, I think. Am I wrong? I think so. She works really well with Luna. So
insects to be crushed.
Just in case I'm giving you any build ideas, keep that in mind. Again, I fathered a Felix. That was the other Felix that I fathered. I think that's what, 3 now? Plus 1 I merged Brave Felix that I'm actually using. So attack speed Excel. Unfortunately, what I was really hoping for was that the new skill from what's his name? Oh god, what's his name? Shez, the new legendary Shez. I was hoping the new skill Smog, Pulse Smog, would have been inheritable by calves, melee calves, because I really wanted to give that to Brave Erica, because one of her problems is that I just murders her because of the special. But if she was able to survive that combat, it would be a lot more favorable for me, or just for her in general as a unit. It would make her like a lot better. Survivability, of course. So that's one of the things that I wanted to do, but unfortunately it didn't pan out that way. But just in testing, I found out that she works really, really well with attack speed and sight. It's one of the best C skills that you, if not the best C skill that you can give to her. Yeah, that plus Excel, she gets really, really fast. Fast enough to take out Brave Felix, which makes her one of the few units in the game that can actually just 1v1 against Brave Felix. I'm assuming that Seliph, when he gets his refined Brave Seliph, will probably be able to do the same, because it's actually pretty close. It's just that, yeah, he needs the extra speed. So hopefully that will, be something that he gets in his refine. I think Brave Seliph versus Brave Felix will be a good matchup. Brave Seliph actually does pretty well into Brave Alphonse as well. So if you have a Brave Seliph lying around, you might want to test out that matchup. I think he'll do even better if you give him Assassin Strike. Although I've been finding that the damage that you get from Assassin Strike is comparable, or at least not better than, or about the same as Gambit, which is weird. I forgot that I wanted to test that some more, but Gambit Assassin Strike seems like a side grade to Gambit without the damage reduction. I don't know, but check it out. You'll see what I'm talking about. It works out to roughly the same some of the times, a lot of the times. So yeah, keep that in mind. Because I went really hard to get a lot of Assassin Strike and Occultist Strike fodder, because I need that on a lot of my units. I foddered a couple. I foddered a couple Brave Bernadettas as well. I really went hard on that banner, like really hard.
Ready.
And yeah, it just
so much catches my eye.
I was quite surprised, because Gambit, I don't actually, well, then again, the trade-off is that I don't actually have that much Gambit fodder, so I guess there's that. I think Gambit's only on Anna and Brave Robin that came out last year. So it's really rare fodder. So yeah, it's hard to pass around. Whereas Assassin Strike is a little bit more readily available now that Bernadetta is in the regular pool. But overall, those were some of the builds that I went through. I think my Brave Erica build or upgrade is the one that I'm going to be using the most, because she's really good now. Like, definitely top tier with attack speed Insight and attack speed Excel. Those two things really just put her over the top. If you can get her to pre-charge her special, she kills most things, including Brave Alphonse. So definitely give that one a try if you have your Brave Erica just lying around in your barracks. I actually wanted to do that with, or save some fodder for Brave Crom for once he gets his refine, but I think I kind of went a little bit too crazy and I passed off a couple of things that were meant for him. So I'm going to have to go back on that Brave, the new Brave banner, and see if I can pick up another Felix just for Brave Crom. But we'll see what happens. Still a couple more days left before that banner goes away. I'm excited to see what the remix and refines are going to be for the Brave units. But there's a couple days before we find out that, or at least for me, before that information becomes available. So yeah, I think we're pretty much done here. You've seen pretty much what happened in the match if you were, watching in the background. Nephany has failed us completely. Just failed us.
I'll protect you.
Unable to take out Byleth here. Like I said, I'm just not high on this Nephany at all. She's only here because she's bonus and she's ranged.
Where is my prey?
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to separate Byleth from Ather, and if I was able to do that, then this would probably have been a little bit easier to deal with. But in the end, I don't think I would have had a solution to take out Byleth because, as you've seen so far, Rearmed Robin or Rearmed Grima was doing like 0 damage to Byleth.
I'll protect you.
Also, probably would have still ended up in this situation.
So much catches my eye.
That's the downside about your save teams. You really have to put some other unit as your main damage dealer on there in the event that you're just using your armors to tank things. Sometimes it can be difficult to actually take units out. So yeah, turn 7. I don't get another enemy phase, and also I wanted that pod. I really wanted that pod. So I'm probably going to surrender, or I did surrender like a little bit after this, just looking at the numbers here. It's interesting to see that Fjorm lost to Becky here, although I did see a post about this. I think CJ was letting me know that that's what can happen. But then again, Fjorm isn't really known for her melee matchups. They haven't released, Legendary Fjorm is probably the best Fjorm that we currently have for melee matchups. All the other Fjorms are really more for ranged units. It's kind of her thing, Ice Mirror. Nephany failed. Nephany was only able to initiate because of Sedith. That's the only reason she was alive. If Sedith wasn't here, she would have died like 100%. Which again is, I've been testing so heavily with Sedith. He typically gives plus 15 attack, which is crazy. You really ought to invest into Sedith if you haven't already. But this one's GG's. See you in the next one.